Good afternoon and good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and CoffeeStream number 270. Holy crap.
Can you believe that?
And of course, we're here today on Wednesday with Skep Talk. How are you, Skep Talk?
I'm doing very well. If my voice sounds a little bit odd today, uh, I haven't been. I was just listening to myself on the watch page. I'm actually coming through okay, but
Yeah, you're not bad.
you're not getting the full melodious compliment of my voice today because my expensive snowball microphone went away for the day with my wife in the trunk of our car because it accompanied me down to San Antonio for my dad's 92nd birthday, which I was celebrating with him over the weekend. And I absolutely forgot about it. So anyway, yes, I'm all psyched up. I'm ready for Halloween, which is my dad's actual birthday. Yes, he was born on Halloween. That I always thought that was cool. Can you believe that 92 years ago?
That's crazy.
92 years ago. That's 1927 for the math challenged.
That's crazy.
Now, if you think about all the things that have happened since 1927, he's really seen an amazing change. I mean, he saw cars get popular. He didn't see the invention of the car, but he saw them become widespread. When he was growing up, people got around on horse and carriage.
Yeah,
he was in southern Alabama. Southern Alabama wasn't populated with lots of cars in 1927. I hate to tell you.
No, it wasn't like it would have been up in like the northern cities.
When he was 10 years old, cars were the thing. That happened really in about 10 or 15 years down in the South. About by 1940, certainly by 1940, cars were the norm, and horse and buggy were for old-fashioned people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? People who had been, they were still used by people who he remembers as being, older adults. These were people who were born in the 1860s.
Yeah. Who were like, those newfangled motor cars.
Exactly.
I'm not getting behind the wheel of one of those.
I mean, in 1927, the Holland Tunnel opened under the Hudson River. That was a big fucking deal. That connected downtown Manhattan, way downtown Manhattan, with New Jersey. That was huge. And it was 2 tubes, each providing 2 lanes. It was 2.5 miles long, and it changed the world. It changed Manhattan, and boy, did it change New Jersey. It basically made part of New Jersey almost like a poor extension of Manhattan.
Well, see, even to me, because I read a lot of books that are centered in New York City.
Yes.
A lot of the Pendergast novels take place there.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And the amount of times that they just drive through to New Jersey.
Yes.
It's like from someone who doesn't live there.
Prior to
almost makes it like, is New Jersey part of New York?
That really made that happen, because prior to that, you had much less control over how you got to New Jersey, because you had to take a ferry.
Yeah.
And that meant and the lines of cars for the ferry going to and from New Jersey at rush hour were epic. They stretched for blocks and blocks and blocks.
Oh, wow.
People waited for hours to get on a ferry. Otherwise, you were faced with the unappetizing possibility of driving all the way up Manhattan, which is a Long Island, to the George Washington Bridge and crossing that way up in North Manhattan. So you didn't have a lot of good options. But I have some other things to remind you of about 1927. I just sort of seized the. Do you like the way I've kind of made this stream my own? It's kind of made it about my dad's birth year. I wanted to just bring up a couple of things that happened there, just so you can get a flavor of how much my dad has seen in his life. You know what else happened in 1927?
What's that?
Charles Lindbergh flies the Spirit of St. Louis across the Atlantic nonstop and solo, direct from New York to Paris. And so that's the first solo transatlantic.
Why do I keep thinking that was 37? Or is that the Hindenburg that I keep thinking of?
Yeah, Hindenburg is 10 or 12 years later.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the Hindenburg was right before World War II.
Right.
Just a couple of years before World War II. Might have been 1937. But anyway, yes, this was the Spirit of St. Louis, 1927, the year that he was born. And Lindbergh won the Orteig Prize. 6 aviators had lost their lives in pursuit of that prize prior to Lindbergh. That was not an easy thing that he did. And I don't know if you know this. He developed a fuel leak a third of the way across the Atlantic. And you know what he did? He had to do? He had to bank the plane to get the gas to drain through a hole in the bottom of the plane. His feet were awash in gasoline.
Wow.
Most of the way across the Atlantic. Yeah, that was.
Pinkalo says, see, that's the thing. I think Lindbergh didn't go direct from New York to Paris. I think he had to stop in, I believe, Newfoundland, said Pinkalo. Maybe for refueling, that would make sense.
Yeah. Lindbergh took off in the Spirit of St. Louis from Roosevelt Airfield, Long Island, New York, 6:52 a.m. EST. And his next landing was at Le Bourget Aerodrome in Paris after 33 hours, 29 minutes.
Oh, shit. So he didn't stop.
No, he didn't stop. At least it's not recorded that he stopped it. Pinkalo may know something.
Pinkalo says, I need to watch The Spirit of St. Louis again. That was a great movie, he says.
Yeah. But I've never heard of a landing in Newfoundland. I mean, anything's possible, of course. Anyway, the United States, in the United States, Henry Ford reveals the first Model A. Ford Motor Company's newest vehicle, the Model A. Do you even know what a Model A is?
Yeah, it was the first. It
was one of the first manufactured, mass manufactured automobiles in the world. Probably was the actual first one. The Model T would come later, but the Model A debuted with 7 different body types and was available in 4 different colors.
4!
Its features included a safety glass windshield. It had 4-wheel brakes on all 4 wheels. Historically, cars had only had brakes on 2 wheels, and hydraulic shock absorbers. And it was the first to feature the iconic blue oval badge of Ford. And they reportedly sold 400,000 vehicles in the first 2 weeks after its debut. That's 400,000 vehicles in 1927 America.
That's a lot of vehicles.
But here's one about Canada. The official ceremony for the opening of the Peace Bridge connecting Canada to the United States was held on August 7th of that year.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's located just a few miles away from Niagara Falls, as I'm sure you know. The bridge spanned 5,800 feet across the Niagara River.
Huh.
We say African American River now. We don't call them Niagaras anymore. But and connected Buffalo, New York, to the United States, to Fort Erie in Ontario in Canada. And so there you go. And you know what? You know how much it cost to build that bridge?
How much?
$4.5 million.
In 20s money?
Yeah.
God damn.
That was a lot of money. So let's see.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of prizes, because you said that Lindbergh won. For last, by the way. Oh, you've got one more?
I've got one more.
Okay.
In the United States, work began began
yeah.
on Mount Rushmore.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason they started that earlier. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. On October 4th, the year work began. And interestingly enough, work was completed on October 31st, 1941, my father's 14th birthday.
That's
And
cool.
so there you go, the headlines from 1927. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
I was gonna say, speaking of prizes,
Is
did you see? I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Did you see that Miss Greta turned down her award?
Oh, what award did she win?
So they wanted to give her like an award for climate change.
And she turned
So
it down. The
the
little
headline
shithead.
the headline says activist Thunberg or however you want to pronounce it denies
I think it's actually,
declines climate change prize.
it's actually pronounced Cuntberg.
Cuntberg, yeah.
Cuntberg, yes.
So
Cuntberg,
so she declines this prize and demands more action instead.
fuck you, you little self-righteous shithead.
Yeah.
You know, go learn algebra. Fuck off.
So this here says Copenhagen teen climate activist Greta Thunberg, or whatever we want to call her, Kuntenberger, has inspired millions across the world to stage protests urging leaders to better tackle global warming, has declined an environmental prize, saying the climate movement doesn't need any more prizes. Okay, then.
Alrighty then. That's so that was the Nordic Council's prize.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the Nordic Council? I've never
I don't
heard
know.
of them.
I've never heard of them either.
Nordic Council prize.
So it says, while you're looking that up, it says two fellow climate activists spoke on Thunberg's behalf at her awards ceremony Tuesday in Stockholm for the regional interparliamentary Nordic Council's prize, thanking the group for the honor. Thunberg, 16, is currently in California. Oh, she's went to California now.
That's sort of where she belongs.
Thank fuck she's gone out of Canada. She's gone to California. Let's keep her there.
In an Instagram post explaining her decision to turn down the prize money of 500,000 kroner, $40,000 American, or 46,000 euros, Mrs. Kuntberg said, "The Nordic countries have a great reputation around the world when it comes to climate and environmental issues, but there's a big stick up my ass and I'm not taking your fucking prize. There's no lack of bragging about this. There's no lack of beautiful words." But she said Nordic energy consumption told a whole other story and once again referenced the stick up her ass. She referenced a report from the WWF and the Global Footprint Network, which says Sweden, along with most of the Nordic region, lives as if the world has the resources of 4 planets. 4 planets? Only 4, not 6, not 2. How did you calculate that, you little fuckhead? You can't do algebra.
That's
the gap
crazy.
Between what science said was needed to limit a global temperature increase and what was being implemented was, quote, gigantic, said the little know-nothing shithead people who are smarter than she will ever be. We belong to the countries that have the possibility to do the most, and yet our countries still basically do nothing, she added, speaking words that had been written for her that she doesn't even hardly understand.
Wait, how can a country with a population that small be able to do the most?
Yes, exactly. You know, you want to know who could do the most. It's India and China. Stop building coal plants. Okay, start getting on. Start building thorium nuclear reactors. Yes, it costs more, but
Pincalo says, wait, she's in California and suddenly all the wildfires have sparked? Coincidence? I think not.
yeah, that's true. Interestingly enough, other people who have turned down the award, Jean-Paul Sartre refused the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1964. David Bowie turned down a CBE, basically a knighthood in the UK in 2000. He told The Sun, I would never have any intention of accepting anything like that. I seriously don't know what it's for. Vietnamese politician Lee Duc Tho was jointly offered the Nobel Peace Prize in 1973 with U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who greedily accepted, for negotiating an armistice in Vietnam. Tho refused the award as the war between Vietnam and the USA was ongoing, and he accused Kissinger of violating a truce. Virginia Woolf declined the Companion of Honor in 1935 and honorary degrees from Manchester and Liverpool, as she considered awards a symptom of the patriarchy. That is not what she said. That is historical revisionism.
Holy shit. Virginia
kidding?
Woolf would not say shit like that.
No kidding. You know, she might have said, I don't want to go hang out and celebrate with a bunch of men, but she would not have called it the patriarchy. What? That is hideous. And you know, and there are other people who've turned down things. So Greta, but the interesting thing about that list that's included in this BBC article is it's showing, look at as Greta takes her place among the greats like Virginia Woolf and David Bowie and Lee Duc Tho, who was a criminal fuck.
Oh, Lindsay's pissed. She says, don't you dare bring David Bowie into this.
I know.
He is nothing like these morons they're trying to put on a pedestal.
Exactly. And I'm with you, Lindsay. 100%, girl.
Did you know John Cleese was offered a knighthood?
I did not know
and he turned it down. It was 96.
Interesting that he did not make this article.
Oh, he's a straight white man. Straight white man who says Britain is no longer British. So of course he's not going to make that article.
They don't put penis bearers in here. Wow, that's awesome. Great stuff, BBC. That's really.
Oh my God! This article continues on here to say Thunberg notes that flights contribute to global warming, so she sailed across the Atlantic Ocean for 2 weeks. Yeah, and flew the crew back home.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you know, she's being used so hard. I mean, she's being used harder than an old Shanghai whore.
Well, Dr. No has a good point. He says, you know, she has fetal alcohol syndrome and has been easily brainwashed by her parents.
Yeah, I don't know that that's true, but
I don't know if she's got fetal. I don't know if she has fetal alcohol syndrome, but I think she might actually be on the actually.
She looks a little bit downsy. I'll say that. That's
the way she speaks, also.
Yeah, it's kind of has that Asperger's ring to it, and I think I know of what I speak there.
There's somebody new in chat. Says, I had to de-ice my car this morning. Greta told us the world was melting. Why is the world not melting? Has Greta lied to us? How dare she?
Yes, yeah, that's we feel the same way. It's cold and wet in Texas, so things are. Maddie says that she's on the autism spectrum. She also has anxiety. Well, she shares it with the world. Good God, what a little asshole she's turned into.
You know, for somebody who has anxiety, and this is coming from somebody who actually has anxiety, and when it's up, will actively seek out reasons not to do things.
Yeah.
She's certainly going and getting. People with anxiety are not like unless her parents are like doping her up with Xanax or something.
Right.
But she is too wound, like she is being, Lindsay, you're right, she is being manipulated by her parents.
Yeah. I don't think it's fair to ad hominem at her. It's probably right. I think it's clear she's being manipulated by her parents. By all means, attack her ideas. Yeah. Although she is of an age where it would take some maturity to push back against the people who are telling her to say these things.
And it's scary to push back against your, like, when you get to that age and you realize.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Dax said something. I wanted to go back and see. Dax said, she could have said, "Hey, the flight will happen whether I'm on it or not." It's kind of an interesting point of view. Is that she doesn't really have any control over whether or not an individual flight is going to happen.
Yeah.
And but she's not in the business of being realistic. She's in the business of having an almost childlike idealism and an angry, bitchy intolerance of anything that is even slightly out of line with every single thing that comes out of her mouth. And at some point, she has to stand up and say, "I'm responsible for a little bit of that bitchiness." Lindsay says, "There's nothing that grinds my gears more than people trying to manipulate those that are on the spectrum." Yeah, I agree with you. Victimizing somebody who is already dealing with kind of a lousy hands of card from fate in the first place is heinous. It's hateful, and people are scum.
They are,
and that side is using her right now, and they're very proud of themselves to have found this cute little spokespot to go out and hate. She can hate and really be hateful, and have absolutely nothing come back on her because you'd be attacking a little girl on the spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost a perfect bot. So anyway, yeah, they could not have done better with an animatronic.
We're in the beginning of a meltdown, she says, but Manitoba just got 25 centimeters of snow yesterday.
No.
And it's 9 Fahrenheit in Denver, according to Cryptic. Jesus Christ. No, thank you.
That's 9 Fahrenheit, folks, not 9 centigrade. 9 Fahrenheit. That's minus 10.
Yeah, that's not okay with me.
In the Celsius business. So
that is not okay with me.
Yeah, that's not okay with anybody. So there you go. I'm seeing court challenge of Ontario's vaccination law unlikely to succeed, according to the experts.
Yep. So I read yesterday about this group of people who are bitching about the mandatory vaccination law that still has exemptions. And so this story is talking about how a bunch of legal experts have been basically asked if this case holds merit. And this is their answer. Because yesterday they were protesting outside Queen's Park about this law.
Is this a group of vaccine skeptics is unlikely to succeed in their effort to persuade a court that Ontario's child vaccination laws violate parents' rights? According to constitutional experts, the nonprofit organization Vaccine Choice Canada, as well as 5 Ontario mothers, launched the court case this week alleging the Immunization of School Pupils Act breaches various rights enshrined in the Constitution. The group alleges the law violates the rights to freedom of conscience and religion, also the rights to liberty and security of person, as well as the rights to infect the general populace with death-dealing diseases.
I love how they are unironically calling on the liberty and security.
Yes.
When they don't give a fuck about the liberty and security of 95% of the rest of us.
Yes. They probably are arguing that those diseases don't exist. They're all psychosomatic, and because you can't see germs and bacteria and viruses, and they say there's nothing that small. You can see small things and you can't see those, so they must not exist. Therefore, the vaccines don't do anything except harm their children. There you go. Emmett McFarlane, a political science professor at the University of Waterloo, said the government will be on strong ground to argue the law that's designed to protect all students from illness.
No kidding.
This is a law. This is a law that protects people from getting sick with deadly diseases. And it has to be defended in court?
I know. This is insane.
Help me understand this.
I don't think I can. This is the same mindset as the retards in California that went, it should just be a misdemeanor if you knowingly infect somebody with AIDS. Yeah. I agree. Let's make that a law.
Yeah, let's do
that. Gunfox, are you going to try and make Nightbot angry? By the way, guys, I fixed Nightbot. So if you type in caps or if you try and post a link, Nightbot won't put you in timeout.
So,
Functional says the only way the Canadian government can deny our right is if it infringes upon other people's rights. This will be shot down fast. Yep. It will.
The group behind the challenge includes mothers who each have between 2 and 5 children, some of whom they allege have been barred from school due to their lack of vaccinations.
Well, so then get them fucking vaccinated.
But here's what they say. In their statement of claim, the group alleges forcing parents to sign the document amounts to compelled speech and violates their rights by posing a potential criminal liability to being forced to sign. They particularly object to a part of the document that lists the dangers of not being vaccinated, and which is science, and tells parents that by signing they are accepting responsibility for putting their child's health and even life at risk. That's
the fact that these people are unironically making these arguments is just mind-boggling to me.
It really is. It absolutely is. I mean, I'm libertarian. I'm pretty firewalled on individual rights, but your rights stop at my infection.
Yep.
Okay? We all have signed a social compact, basically. We have agreed to live amongst one another. You can't, no man is an island anymore. You can't go off and be a hermit by yourself and not come in contact with people anymore. If you're going to come in contact with people, you're going to have to take appropriate measures that are generally available for free if you can't afford them, to forestall your spreading dangerous diseases and harming a lot of a big segment of society.
Yeah.
These people have no answer for the question, what if your child develops smallpox and kills a few thousand people?
Well, then it'll
other,
be the vaccine's fault because
yeah,
smallpox came back.
right, exactly.
it
Using
won't.
live virus, man.
It won't be the fact that less and less people are getting the vaccines.
Yeah.
It's totally the vaccine's fault.
Totally the vaccine's fault. So there you go. I have no words for this.
God damn it! It's dusty in here.
You sound like you are really struggling with your allergies, hon. That's kind of why I'm trying to do a lot of the reading.
And I gave my mother my antihistamines because I'm a nice daughter.
You are a good daughter. No, that's why I'm trying to do a lot of so you won't have to read and try and breathe at the same time. I didn't want you to think I was getting pushy.
No, I know you're not. I can.
There,
I know that you've figured out that my nose won't stop.
yeah, you're sounding really snorky today, sweetie. I'm sorry, but that's I get that way myself. Interesting. I
these people just drive me crazy. I just
yes.
And the like, I have a friend who's an anti-vaxxer, and I don't even tell him when we've gotten the kids their shots anymore.
Right.
Because I just have to listen to, oh, why do you got to do that? Because it's necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand, and these people who say, vaccines cause autism because my kid was diagnosed after they got vaccinated. Okay, that's unfortunate that you happened to get your kid vaccinated and then they received a diagnosis. I'm by that logic, vaccines cause depression because I got all my vaccines and then 13 years later, I got depressed.
Look what they did to
and
you.
have to take medicine now.
Look what they did to you.
Look what those vaccines did to me.
Jesus.
What? I don't understand this leap that people. Twitter causes autism, says functional. You're not wrong there.
You'd not be wrong at all. Yeah, I like that. I have a story that I wanted to bring.
Oh, a story.
We're done. Yes, it's on euthanasia.
Oh boy.
It sometimes I scroll around looking for stuff from the country where I spent so much of my youth, Belgium, and I came across this. It was a Paralympian, Belgian Paralympian dies by euthanasia at 40 years old.
Ooh.
And this lady, her name Vervoort she's a Flemish. She's probably from northern Belgium. Was diagnosed with a painful spinal condition as a teenager and retired after the Rio Games. She advocated dialogue on assisted dying in countries around the world. And, there she is on September 10th, 2016, in one of these racing wheelchairs. She's awesome. And she won the silver medal in the women's 400 meter at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no. So she was in good shape. But it says Belgian Paralympian Marieke Vervoort died by euthanasia on Tuesday, aged 40, after a battle with an incurable and degenerative spinal condition. Vervoort, who won, and by the way, our friend the ranting monkey, he has a spinal condition that is like a kind of is not dissimilar to this, but imagine what he has in his neck on your whole spine.
Yeah.
Vervoort, who won Paralympic gold 200 meters wheelchair race in the London Games 2012, had signed euthanasia papers in 2008 in Belgium, where it is legal, and died in accordance with her wishes late on Tuesday. Vervoort, who also won silver medals in London and in Rio in 2016, was diagnosed with a painful condition as a teenager and retired from competition after the Rio Games. She advocated dialogue on assisted dying, and so forth and so on. The town of Diest in northern Belgium, yep, where Vervoort was born, set up a book of condolence and carried a long message on its website about the woman. It called Our Willimi, a reference to it means, the wheels of a wheelchair. It literally means our wheelie, kind of. Despite her physical limitations, she had an impressive sporting career. The town said Mariek chose euthanasia a few years ago and followed through on her choice on Tuesday morning. And, this is a person who made the most of a bad life that was dealt her and did something that I have long advocated, and that is euthanasia. Look, there's nothing brave or wonderful about the way most people die.
No.
And I actually think that people being able to choose the moment of their death, because there does get to be a point where the aches and pains finally get past your ability to deal with them.
Yeah.
And I don't think your last moments should be terrified putting a gun in your mouth and blowing your brains out.
No.
And having your family get to come home with that. We are better than that. We can do better than that. This is, when you fought your last battle, when it's time to go, I don't think there's anything wrong with accepting that fact and going gracefully. And we die better than we do.
Well, and if you still have your faculties about you, you should be able to make that decision.
Absolutely.
And this, I've because we're looking at this in Canada, right, trying to make this legal. And I remember back in 2008, just after Obama got elected, the far right media in the States was all on about, because that's when we started talking about euthanasia up here, was around 2008. And they started reading about death camps and death panels and how we were in Canada just going to start shepherding our old people into these, homes
concentration camps.
Yeah, where we would just line them up and make them wait to get euthanized, and it was all going to be forced euthanasia, and it was complete fear mongering.
Yeah,
because that's what they're talking. This is what you were just talking about is more along the lines of what we were looking at. If you're sick, or you have something like this lady did that's incurable, and you're just in so much pain that everything that you've learned to do to cope just isn't working. I think you have the right to not wait until you're mad with discomfort,
and you're not making decisions based on anything but just avoiding
make it stop.
Make it stop. If you have ever had a loved one die in front of you, and I mean spend weeks and weeks with them in intractable pain of
slowly
cancer,
dying,
especially if it's your son or your son-in-law, and all he wants is relief. Wants relief, and the hospice has to be so careful to not accidentally kill him with morphine. And I remember his wife was begging the hospice to just give him one more, dose of morphine. And they said, no, no, no. I mean, it was really Marshall that could kill him. And she said, well, he's coming out of it, though, and he's so uncomfortable. I mean, he's just crying out in pain.
Yeah.
And they finally gave him another dose, and he went to sleep. And he did not wake up from that. He died later on that night. I remember the night he died. You know, we thought, well, Julian's gone to sleep. He's going to sleep over the night. And 40 minutes after we left, he died in my stepdaughter's arms.
Yeah.
And
that's hard.
He would have liked to have had a better end than that. He would have liked to have not, especially the last week, gone through that last week. He you know, and I had talked with Julian about this.
Yeah.
And he said, if I ever ask you to shoot me, I want you to shoot me. Just put the gun in my hand afterwards.
Yep.
You know, fix it and we'll do it. We never came down to that. I mean, I did a lot for this guy.
But that's a sincere question, right? Like,
yeah, I bought a pound of dope for him and made hashish.
Nice.
Make his last 2 months comfortable. And that was, you know, I could have gone to jail. First offense, 15 years in Texas for that much. That's with intent to distribute.
Yeah, pound is,
That's an automatic sentence. So, you know, I was really, I wasn't scared about it. I was careful about it. I was old doper. I know how to behave. But I remember making that hash, and just, it was a hopeless, sad enterprise doing that. And, you know, finally getting it all cooked down. But it gave him so much more comfort, really, up until the last week. But the last week, he should have died about 7 days before he did. His last 7 days were just, you
awful.
Know, in a tremendous amount of discomfort. And that's why I would really like to see assisted suicide become not something we're ashamed or scared about or any, weirded out about, but something that, sometimes it's the right answer.
Yeah.
It's, I've watched people, I've seen the YouTube videos of people checking out that way. They simply go to sleep, and that's the end. That is not a bad way to check out of this life. And if you don't think you're going to check out of this life, I've got news for you. I was young for many, many years. I know what it's like to be young. I now know what it's like to be old. Stuff starts to wear out. Your body eventually lets you down. Eventually, you will die, and you will want a comfortable path out of that. Now, as long as I have a 9mm, handy, I've got a fast way out if I ever need that. I don't want it, but I don't want to do that to my family.
No.
And I don't particularly want to face that myself.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have something more comfortable. But
Lindsay has a great point. She says, we grant our pets relief when their condition is terminal and their quality of life has declined. I don't understand why we can't do the same for our loved ones.
I'm a big fan of Lindsay. I don't know about you. She comes
I
up
am
with
too.
really, really good comments, really really nice.
Like if I've always told, because I was asked once if there was ever a time when I would consider assisted suicide.
Yeah.
And I said yes, if I went deaf.
Oh yeah, that would.
If I lost all use of my hearing, like if I was 100% deaf, I would be like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't hear my kids. I can't hear music. I can't hear Pincalo. I'm done.
This actually happened to a couple of people. The ones that I know about, the two that I know about, were from World War One. They were near artillery shell explosions, and for some reason they survived. They survived without limbs, and they were blind and deaf.
Oh.
And I think it's fair to say that that's not much of a life, really.
No.
And
like if you were born that way and you don't know anything different and you learn sign language, like the touch
yeah,
sign
exactly.
language, like if you've grown up with that, that's different.
The Helen Keller thing, yes, exactly. But where she, lost her, she became blind and deaf at such an early age that she
Yeah.
did not remember having hearing or sight. I can understand that, but to lose a faculty like that, I agree. It just cuts down so much on what you can do that it's a fair thing to consider. I understand that. So
Pincalo says, "Blind Press will tell you I agree with the idea of that Star Trek episode at 65. You have a goodbye party." Oh yeah,
so 2 years. I'm dead for 2 years now. Thanks
the
a lot, Pinkalo.
that TNG episode where the Doctor was trying to save his planet from the sun supernova,
Yes,
and
yes,
because he was 60, that he had to sunset himself.
yes. Absolutely. Well, irate prostate is reminding me. Johnny Got His Gun was the name of a movie about a guy who was hurt in I think it was a World War I or World War II shell explosion, and was blind and deaf and did not have use of his limbs. Uh, and that was kind of what, and he points out it's a cheerful conversation. I didn't mean to really take this down this really negative thing. I just would like to see,
So
we have so many good ways to live. We need a good way to die.
Let's keep the cheerfulness going. Did you hear about this piece of crap?
Sobbing killer son streamed murder of mom on Facebook.
Because that's what live streaming is for, apparently.
Because that's what you do, right?
Apparently, Facebook Live is for murdering people. Because
are you fucking kidding me?
That's just like how many assaults / murders have we had on Facebook Live now? Like 5 that have gone public, like big. We had that the guy who was the mentally underdeveloped guy who got attacked by the kids.
Yes.
That was streamed live. Then we had the let's see. Oh, 15 actually, says Gunfall. Is it really 15? Snuff films are real. It's called FB Live.
Yeah, no kidding. You're not wrong. This is interesting. Jeffrey Antonio Langford Jr. was smeared in blood and calling for his mother. Shocking footage of the 24-year-old appears to show him filming the sadistic murder of his mother, Graciela Laura Holker, 45, on Facebook Live. Holker was shot to death in her Salt Lake City area home on Saturday night.
Okay. So he shot her and then was calling for her?
The camera moves to show a dead Holker, her face a bloody mask of death. Then Langford says she's not dead and he needs to finish the job, quote unquote.
Jesus
In a second
Christ.
video, he claims his mother killed herself, and he does not want to go to jail, adding that his mother died on the same day as his dad. Cops say his father died years earlier in a shooting accident. Under interrogation, Langford again claimed his mother killed herself in front of him. He then switched it up and said she shot herself outside her home.
Oh.
He also told detectives the pair had been boozing and she had taken a Klonopin tablet, a sedative, so everything was okay. Langford said he didn't call 911 because he was afraid his mother would shoot him.
What?
She was dead. A trio of spent slugs from the gun were found in Langford's room. You can't make this shit up. On preliminary investigation inside the apartment, officers found an adult female deceased with an apparent gunshot wound, officers reported. On further investigation, it was determined that there was sufficient probable cause to arrest the adult male and book him into jail on charges of homicide, obstruction of justice and being a crazy motherfucker. Langford has now been charged with first-degree felony murder and second-degree felony obstruction of justice over claims he lied about Hoker's death. The handgun was in the victim's right hand, however, it was not consistent with suicide. Probably the multiple wounds tipped him off. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times did she shoot herself in the head? 4.
That's insane.
Yeah, and this guy's obviously mentally ill, and his mother. Honestly, I hate to say this, she looks like an alien. She looks like plastic surgery gone horribly, horribly, horribly askew.
Wow.
Yeah, she's got alien eyes. They're almost like cat eyes, without normal eyelids. Obvious eyelids been done. The lips have been pumped so full of cellulose that they're poofy and look like deformed. They look deformed. They're hideous, and it looks like she had the implants in the cheeks also. I mean, I'm sure she thought she was gorgeous, but you got to believe that the apple ain't fallen too far from the tree there, and they're both.
Pincala says, wait, his shooting accident killed the father too? Yeah, apparently his dad died a few years ago in another shooting accident.
I have a feeling with Sonny Boy going to jail, they're going to the accidents are going to stop.
Yes, I would hope so. Wow.
I just, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Sobbing killer son streamed murder of mom on Facebook.
Because that's what you do, right?
Yeah, that's how we roll. That's just, it just makes good sense. I don't know.
So we've got a blogger. I'm trying to figure out who it was. So there's some angry people in Toronto yesterday because there's some blogger, a controversial blogger. There's tons and tons of, I guess, angry people. There's a video, but if I unplug my computer, there might be feedback. So there's angry protests are outside a library event in Toronto. I wonder who this person is that they're pissed off about. So it says dozens of angry protesters gather outside a Toronto library branch Tuesday night to demonstrate against an event featuring a blogger who they say holds anti-trans views. Okay.
Anti-trans views.
The event at the Palmerston branch in... Why does that sound like Satanville? Seatonville Village. Seaton Village. We have weird names.
Yes.
Featured a self-described feminist writer, Megan Murphy. I've actually never heard of Megan Murphy. Have you?
No, Megan Murphy, who has written that gender identity isn't real and undermines women's rights. Protesters gathered outside the event throughout the day, many holding signs and chanting. Jeers and boos broke out as people exited the event, titled Gender Identity, What Does It Mean for Society, the Law, and Women? And police had to assist some of the attendees to bypass the crowd. So
talking about gender identity when it comes to women is anti-trans?
Well, some people don't believe that trans misogyny is real. and trans women are constantly invalidated as not women. Okay, that's a hard thing to do because you have the lesbians, especially the TERFs, the trans
Yeah.
exclusionary radical feminists over here, saying women are people who have vaginas and uteri, or at least were born with them, and
Right.
you have and they're strangely aligned with the conservatives who say, "Yeah, that's right."
Yeah.
And then you have the woke folk, we'll call them, who actually include a lot of the middle, who just say, "Hey, go along and get along." If somebody is making an effort and they look the part, basically, they're
Yeah.
uh, uh, and I think we know somebody like that. We call them by the pronouns they prefer, just out of courtesy to them. It doesn't matter whether or not you say, well, technically you're born with this chromosome set or that chromosome set. It's who you are, what your personality is, and how you live. That's the way that I deal with it. But
Yeah.
everybody's entitled to an opinion on this. I don't see why we have to get militant about it and threaten to hurt each other about this stuff. I just don't understand that.
I don't either. Like I'm totally for if an adult it wants to be the opposite gender than that they were born with and they truly feel that they are the opposite gender, then go ahead. But don't don't sit there and go, "Oh, I'm going to transition into a woman and then I'm going to get my period and I'm going to have babies."
Right.
And just no. Just shut up about that.
Don't buy tampons, shove them up your ass, and claim you're, just don't do that.
Yeah.
See, the the California State Assembly actually had a law that fortunately died in its little committee, never got before the whole House, that was going to make it a criminal offense to misgender someone.
I heard about that.
And the first offense was a mandatory 2 years in prison.
Great.
It was going to be a felony. A felony to do that because they were serious. They were seriously woke.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, and it died. It died the death of crazy legislation. It always should
Thank
die.
God.
But sooner or later, California is going to pass something like that, and it will be at least they're probably going to try and criminalize it because if it's a civil case in American law, you have to show how you were damaged, and you have to assign a monetary value to that.
Yeah.
To be made whole. I mean, there's other ways of restitution, but most often it's by money. And usually, being misgendered does not cost you money. It doesn't do anything that ends up costing you money. It doesn't affect your ability to earn money. It doesn't really affect your future much, your present or your past. So, that's why they'll try and make it criminal because they're seriously woke, and that's just the way it is. That's all. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think the whole thing is silly. There's a lot of pain over no good reason. And there's a lot of people getting exercise to show how woke they are. I'd rather talk about want something totally frivolous and kind of fun.
Sure.
Prince Harry and Meghan reportedly have a confrontation with the Queen.
Oh.
Prince Harry and his renegade wife Meghan threw a tantrum and reportedly threatened to quit the royal family during a bitter confrontation with the Queen, insiders said. Wait a minute.
Really?
Wait for this. But if the pair were hoping the 93-year-old monarch would beg them to stay, they were flat out wrong.
Yeah, I have a feeling that
Her Majesty called their. This is a quote from a palace courtier. Her Majesty called their bluff. She told them she was delighted with their decision and couldn't wait for them to leave. But that wasn't the Queen's only payback for the, quote, divisive, end quote, couple who committed the cardinal sin of dissing royal life in public. The source said that she stripped them of their royal, quote, stripped them of their royal titles, their newly renovated home, Frogmore Cottage, and $15 million in financial support. She turned them out without a dime.
This is for real?
For real.
They're not royals anymore?
No. Ixnay.
God damn. Don't piss off the Queen Mother. Holy shit.
As Radar previously reported, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex horrified the Queen and senior royals by giving emotionally raw interviews for the documentary Harry and Meghan, An African Journey, during their official visit there with 6-month-old Archie in September. Harry went too far by confirming his feud with William, 37, that the palace has worked tirelessly to downplay, said sources. The once inseparable brothers have good days and bad days and don't see one another as much as they used to, Harry confessed. And Meghan complaining about nobody ever asking her if she was okay was nothing but a bad acting job by the former Suits star, said sources. They spilled their guts like no royal since Princess Diana's shocking. There were 3 of us in this marriage TV interview in 1995 about Prince Charles cheating with Camilla Parker Bowles, noted a senior palace source, but they came across as paranoid whiners and psychologically unhinged hypocrites, and Her Majesty was outraged. She called the couple to her private quarters immediately after the documentary aired, continued the senior palace source. In a shocking showdown, she told them to get a grip and stop claiming they'd single-handedly modernized the monarchy. She told Meghan it might be okay to be so open in hippy-dippy Hollywood, but royals keep their private feelings just that, private. Mm-hmm. Instead of apologizing and begging forgiveness, Harry and Meghan dug their heels in, insisting they wanted out of the royal fishbowl, said the palace aide, noting they demanded a 6-week break to chill out and see what America has to offer them. Her Majesty exploded. I'm told she retorted, 6 weeks. You can make it permanent. She said everyone, including herself, had bent over backwards to help Meghan adjust her royal life. And if they couldn't cope, she'd be delighted to see them go for good. Meghan clearly masterminded this publicity stunt, and the Queen retaliated. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan did not respond to requests for comment. They have cut the fuck loose without a penny. Yes, that is that was an expensive goodbye.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
I see a car crash in the future, says Pincalo.
Meghan, practice this phrase. Would you like fries with that?
Yeah.
Supersize that? Oh my God.
What would you like to drink?
Yeah, exactly. What are we having today?
What could I get you?
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. Welcome to the workaday world. Well, I hope
I have a Star Trek story.
Yeah, let's do that. What you got?
I got this little gem. I just found it because I subscribe to the Star Trek newsletter. So what?
You haven't told me about that.
I subscribed there because if you go to StarTrek.com, right?
Oh, yes, okay. I know what you're talking
about. There's
you get the updates on the newsletter.
There's an article here that says that talks about Patrick Stewart and why and how his doing his stint on Logan, the movie Logan, got him coming back to do Picard. So if I can find this stupid fucking body of it,
Yeah.
then we will here it is. So it says, let's see here. It threw me off because there's an email. It's a subscribe right in the middle of the
Right. Yeah,
article. Okay, here we go. So this is from StarTrek.com. At Destination Star Trek Birmingham, the great Sir Patrick Stewart spoke to fans about the upcoming series Star Trek Picard. Though not able to say much about the anticipated show's plot, he did talk in depth about his hesitancy to return to the Star Trek universe. I don't blame him. I really don't. I had absolutely no intention of returning to Star Trek, Stewart told the DST audience. I was very proud of the 7 seasons of Next Generation and the 4 movies that were made, but I had resisted numerous invitations to bring it all back to life again. So when this offer came in from CBS, I agreed to attend the meeting, but for one reason only. I had great respect for the people who were calling me. And I wanted, and they wanted, and the people who had made Jean-Luc and Star Trek, and I wanted to be as polite, and I wanted to politely and as sensitively as possible tell them why I was going to turn the offer down. They listened to me talk for 20 minutes or more while I explained to them the reasons behind my saying no. However, the meeting, which included producers Alex Kurtzman and Goldsman, it took a different turn. It was authentic. My determination not to return to this world, but when I had finished, they thanked me and said, well, can we just talk to you a little more about things that interest us? I said to my agent who was with me at the meeting, could you ask them if they could put all of that into writing so I can study their ideas and their plans for revising this character and this world a couple of days later? I got 35 pages of single space writing. Oh my God. And I was fascinated by it, he says.
Oh, that's interesting.
So 35 pages of single space.
I know. That's
wow.
That's a lot. It's kind of a lot.
So then it has a picture of his of the Picard. And then it says Stewart's reluctance to revisit Star Trek may be surprising to fans, especially given his large role in another major franchise, Marvel's X-Men. His professor, Charles Xavier, appeared in 7 live-action X-Men films. Yes, it did. And 2017's Logan was a powerful send-off for the character, and the ending stayed with Stewart as he considered his potential return to Star Trek. Yeah, I don't know if you've watched Logan.
No, I have not.
Logan was really good.
Oh, really?
I wasn't expecting Logan to be good.
No, I would not.
But it's a really good movie, and Patrick Stewart plays a very good Charles Xavier who is in his end days.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I strongly suggest watching Logan. I'm not too ashamed to say I cried at the end.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Sounds like Logan dies.
Yeah, well, everybody knows. Everyone who's watched Logan knows. Well, but it's the only rated R X-Men movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They let Hugh Jackman basically have his head.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this continues on to say, I asked to meet them all again, and at the second meeting, I had specific terms and conditions that I said would allow me to think about revising this world or revisiting this world. Much of it was about what the world, much of it was about, what was it? Shit. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? No! I lost it! Come back! Come back, damn you. So, I asked to meet them all again and at the second meeting.
Somebody's coming up to my door.
Oh,
The dog's about to go crazy. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
So it says, I asked to meet them all again, and in the second meeting, I had specific terms and conditions that I said would allow me to think about revising this world. Much of it was about what the world would be and what we were going back to, Stewart said, before referencing another franchise he had starred in. And now he's talking about the final movie that Hugh Jackman and I and myself did, Logan, as to what I had in mind. Logan was nothing like any of the other X-Men movies that had come before. It was very, very different. The world had changed, and so I had challenged Alex Kurtzman and Goldman to come up with ideas for a completely different world than the one that we had known 17 or 18 years earlier. And if you watch the trailer for Picard, you can tell that the world is way different. Watch it with a box of tissues. Definitely watch Logan with a box of tissues. Go away. I've already subscribed. So it says everything from the first outline to the pilot script and eventually the casting, trailers, and final product lived up to Stewart's wishes. Star Trek Picard is better than a return to Jean-Luc, a return to the franchise. It felt like a brand new project, and I was fascinated because in those 18 years, Picard had grown older and Patrick, myself, had grown older. My life, in many respects, is very different, and I felt if we could bring many of those elements into a new series about Picard, then I would be content, and this is the end result of that, he concluded. So this is cool. It's thanks to Logan that he's doing this. And I've watched the Picard trailer. It looks I am cautiously optimistic. I will definitely be giving it a try. Absolutely. So it says, this confirmation of his wishes is exactly what fans of DST wanted to hear. Those who attended Stewart's panel left assured that if Stewart wanted to return as Picard, then there is a story there worthy of a fan's decades-long commitment. What new trials and adventures wait the beloved captain and the other returning characters? We'll have to wait until January to see. So that's that story. I'm really, really, really hopeful that things change or that things are better than Star Trek Discovery. I know that's really not a very high bar, but I mean, still, I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. This really looks like a good show, and I'm very hopeful. Let's just say that. I'm very hopeful. Let's see. What's chat saying here? No, I don't want the frickin' YouTube premium app. Screw you. You're lucky I'm still using this platform, YouTube. So yeah, we've got, I think we have, how long do we have left here? Let's check what time it is. 1:19. We have 11 minutes left. 11 minutes left, guys. So if you guys have any questions or any comments, now be your time. Also, if just in case, like Nightbot's been plugging away there, we are asking that if you're able, instead of the fund this week, if you could throw a bit to the Streamlabs, that would be amazing. You know, life punched us in the gut yesterday, so yeah. That's what's going on. So yesterday night I actually got to go on to Jack Gunsky's stream, the Quiplash stream. That was lots of fun. So if you guys have a chance to go check that out, that's a good stream. It happens at 11:30 on Tuesday nights. It's lots of fun. They play Jackbox games. So that was a lot of fun, and I do thank Jack for having Pincalo and I on yesterday. That was super fun.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I gotta tell you what that was. That was a dog, a lost dog, obviously lost dog, that my neighbor was shopping around.
Oh.
Really good-looking Labrador, German Shepherd cross, I think.
Ooh.
And we took it. I really thought it belonged to the people across the street. I walked across the street with them, so that's why it took me so long.
No worries.
That's why I'm out of breath coming back. Anyway, but it was not theirs. And so I sent my friend on down the street, explained to him I couldn't help him, but I'll go out after the stream and see if he's found home for that dog, and we'll figure it out.
Poor puppy.
Yeah, he well taken care of, very well mannered, had a collar on with a tag, which means that we could take him down to the Humane Center and have them, look up the number that's on the tag, and if he's been chipped, we can figure it out. But I would rather do it locally. It saves a lot of time if we do it this way. So anyway, dog rescues take precedence even over streaming. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I was just telling everybody that Pincalo and I were on Jack Gunsky's stream last night. That was fun. That was really fun. Some of those games are pretty funny.
Oh, you were doing the Jackbox stuff?
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Because the new party pack has accessibility. It's accessible.
Excellent. So
I was able to jump on and
actually play.
Join. Yep.
That's wonderful. So that's a fun thing to do. It competes with Minions, which is, sort of a problem for me.
Yeah.
And but I've been on it a few times, and Jack is a great guy. He's a really terrific guy.
Yeah, Lindsay says Jack Gunsky is good people.
He is good people just through and through. He absolutely is. And I enjoy being on that.
Also, happy anniversary to Irate and Uzi.
Oh, happy anniversary.
It is their 26th anniversary.
Wow. 26 years of Irate Prostate. I think Uzi should be up for canonization.
Yeah, I think she needs a medal.
Yeah, it's a sainthood, really. Just teasing. Congratulations to you both.
Yeah, happy anniversary, you guys.
Love you both, and good on you. Very, very happy for you. Two really good people. To the people, just I've met so many good people online. I've heard it said you can't make e-friends. E-friends aren't real friends. I disagree.
I call bullshit on that.
Yeah, friendships, whether they're online or in real life, is are what you put into them,
Yep.
and how much of yourself you offer, how available you make yourself, and how much you have in common, and all the you know indecipherables that those hard to define things that make friendships work. That, I think that's what makes a friendship. I don't think whether or not uh, you're electronic or halfway around the world. I'm very likely never to meet Far Susme, but we're friends. I admire her work, and she's a good person.
Yeah.
I value her friendship. You know, uh, Lots of people that and occasionally you do meet them. Like I got to meet Tim Kronsel, the sage. He lives on an island in the Atlantic Ocean, right?
Yeah.
But he was visiting the United States. He's Danish. He lives on one of those Danish islands that's part of Denmark, right there, just north of Germany. And he came over to the United States, got to meet him and his father. It was great fun. Good people, really world class people. That was big fun. Maddie was there.
Oh, that's meeting people like that's awesome. It would be awesome to get to meet like some of the minions or something like at some point.
You should look up the Minions stream that we did from MythCon when I picked up Chaos Eve in Memphis, and we drove. I literally drove from Dallas to Memphis and then up to Milwaukee.
Oh wow!
And Eve and I were in the car for like 11 hours to get to Milwaukee. We got up there and we met Sanguine, Adam, and Quiz. And so the five of us did a Minion Fest up
oh
there.
Wow!
And got to know each other. And that's something I don't think any of us, well, maybe Adam will forget it because he forgets a lot, but the rest of us will never forget. I'm teasing Adam. I love you, Adam.
Yeah.
He'll never forget it either. We all had a great time. It's good to get to know one another and see each other in real life. And it's that. And so I hosted a stream from the hotel room up there.
Nice.
And it's in the September of 2018. It's one of the September of 2018 Wednesday stream. One of those 4 Wednesday stream was streamed to you live from a hotel in just outside downtown Milwaukee.
That's awesome.
And it was 5 people having more fun than the law should allow. Sanguine brought some of his incomparable bread. I call it Limbus loaf. It's
oh yeah, you told me about that. The bacon
bread.
cheese.
Yeah, exactly. It's got like 7 pounds of cheese per loaf. It's amazing stuff. I mean, a slice of bread should not weigh 2 pounds.
No,
that's really weird, and it's just delicious. It's absolutely exquisite. It took me half an hour to eat one slice. I really felt some kinship with that moment in the movie. How much did you eat, Pip? 4.
Yeah.
Well, shout out there to the fellow LTR nerds.
Yep.
Anyway, so what were we talking about?
We've actually come to the end of our stream. You guys have spent another 90 minutes with us.
You spent 90 minutes of your lives with us. Well, I hope you got as much fun out of it as I did. And now I'm going to go off and try to find out where this dog lives. But thank you for joining us, and thank you for having me on.
No worries.
I would like a bit of post stream conversation with you if you've
sure.
got a few minutes.
I do.
And but in the meantime, saying goodbye to everybody. Thank you, chat, for coming out. We do this for you, and you can tune in tonight if I may show my show.
Yes, you may.
Yeah, and I'm hoping Blind Press will join me because
I will.
She's a regular. She's one of my regulars. She and Prospero are my wing people on the Wednesday night show, and she and I will switch chairs, and I will host that, and we will bring that to you at 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time. Please be there. We have big fun every time we do it, and you have other shillage?
Yes, tomorrow at noon, come back. I'm still looking for a guest for Friday, but I'm putting my feelers out. So hopefully I'll have someone interesting for you guys this week. And of course, Star Trek on Saturday at 5. So I'm thinking of because I know we were talking about doing seeing if Prospero wanted to come talk about her favorite episodes before we went on to DS9. So I'll talk to her.
Okay. That'd be a good concept.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll see if Paulie can join us too, but he might still be asleep at that point. But we'll see.
You never know.
But yes, thank you all for watching, and come back tomorrow at noon, and of course, come watch Minions tonight at 11:30 Eastern. And on that note, my friends, thank you all for watching, and thank you to Skep for joining us. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.